everyone. It's in 1:30. And it looks like we have a quorum. We're missing Mary, unfortunately, but she may yet arrive. So, welcome everyone. And I'm glad to see so many guests here. Hopefully we will have a productive meeting. Okay, my usual reminder, this is an open meeting, so we must adhere to the open meeting laws. And do we have any announcements that need to be made?
Well, we
Yes,
have,
Natalie.
Littleton's Memory Cafe will be held on, not this Saturday, the following Saturday.
Wait a minute, I've got my appointment.
The fourth Saturday,
Fourth Saturday, which is
22nd or 23rd?
1, 2, 3, 4, the 28th.
8th
of February. We're in February, right?
No, it can't be the 28th, it has to be the 29th. No,
Oh, Saturday, the 29th.
22nd.
22nd,
Yeah.
that's the 4th, okay. Sorry about that.
22nd at 10 o'clock at the Baptist Church, and we have a, like a ladies barbershop quartet group coming to, it's called Life's a Pitch.
Oh, wow, that sounds good.
Yeah, so everybody's welcome if, oh, thank you.
They're pretty strong. Did you need one too?
No, darling, I have mine.
Anyone else?
You said 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock, yeah, at the Baptist Church, right on the Common.
Wonderful.
I recognize that voice.
Here we are on. Memory Cafe on the 22nd, 10 a.m., First Baptist Church. Any other announcements?
I have an announcement.
Liz has an announcement.
I have one.
You have one.
You can
Go.
start.
Go,
I'll give
Anita.
myself-
May 18th, which is a Monday, from 1 to 3 in the multipurpose room, will be a class on Zentangle.
Oh,
And they will be making coasters, round coasters, and coloring them in, and then they will be laminated.
great.
Cost is $3.
And what was the
Maybe you
date
should put
again?
that,
May 18th,
From 1 to 3?
yes.
okay. You want to go?
Yes. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the Cooper Farm Estates and the 3 affordable housing units that are there. The lottery opened up. They only had 1 qualified applicant.
Oh.
So there's still 2 affordable units at Cooper Farm Estates if anyone is interested in applying. The woman's name is Maureen O'Hagan, and I can help anyone get in touch or apply.
Wow.
Still 2 open.
What is the price on the affordable?
2.
38? 38? Something like that.
I think that's what the affordable is, 230.
This year, yeah, I think it is too.
Did it say what the bedrooms were? 1, 2, 3, 2?
2, I believe.
It's first qualified, first served basis.
Wow.
And it can be people from out of town too, it is a lottery.
What about the other one? Is that one closed?
Spectacle Pond?
The other lottery?
I don't have an update on that one.
I don't
can
think
find out.
Kennard's is, it's coming. It's due to be coming soon. But I haven't heard either a date.
And there's a income limit on that, right? If they go by affordable.
Yes. I don't have all the info though.
Which may be why it hasn't applied.
Any other announcements? I have one. There is at the Selectmen's meeting tonight at 7:25. On the agenda is building space needs. I do not know what they're going to be talking about, but I know that it's on the agenda for tonight's meeting. So just calling your attention to it, and I'm going to try to be there.
Did they leave a lot of time on the agenda? Like 10 minutes or?
I don't remember. I didn't write that part down. I did look for the packet. It wasn't out. This was last Thursday, Friday. I was looking at the agenda, and the packet wasn't there. So, and not always is there something in the packet about what they're going to be talking about anyway.
Mhm.
but just as a piece of information. And the other thing I have, before we start, under board protocol, we have the potential to have a lengthy discussion here with the architect's information in front of you, us. And therefore, I'm suggesting that we go through the chair, if you want to speak, and also that might help us minimize interrupting each other, et cetera. So if you do, just put your hand up, and I will get to you. I miss sometimes people sitting in the audience, but, yes, David?
Did you say the Board of Selectmen's meeting was tonight?
That's what I thought I saw. It's tonight. Usually it is,
This is the 10th, is it not?
Yeah?
It's not listed.
I could have sworn I saw
It's a
it.
planning board meeting, where I know there's something on the agenda about,
No, it is tonight. I printed out the agenda.
Yeah.
it's not on the public calendar.
Well, I saw it on there too. I'm almost sure I did.
Wow.
I printed it yesterday, so.
Thank you.
Sometimes you have to click on all upcoming events to see the full listing.
I think you're doing it.
I clicked on agendas, and it was shown, their agenda for tonight was there.
And they're doing an executive session.
Yes, yes. And I also know that, generally speaking, they always have a meeting the same day we have our board meeting. So, Patty, you want it? Oh. Okay. Okay, so that, I would appreciate that, though, if you do have something, come through the chair, so that we can try to keep our self-focused and et cetera. Okay.
Should I do this now or wait until?
You can do it now if you'd like.
Okay.
It's fine. We're just about to get, we're under announcements, and that's fine. It is an announcement, I think. Yes.
So, just a special message of gratitude to the Friends of the Council on Aging. As you all know, when I submitted my budget last fall as a capital item, we put $21,000 for a new van, a new wheelchair accessible van. We already have some money in a gift account. This $21,000 would get us to the end goal. The Selectmen and the Finance Committee asked me to direct the request to the Friends of the Council on Aging, and they so very graciously accepted that and approved it. So now we will be able to afford a new van. Thank you.
Bob?
Will this be a marked van, or will this be owned by the town van?
This will be us, owned by us. We did over 4,000 rides in 2019. There's so many possibilities for this new van. Maybe we can do a fixed route to the grocery stores in addition to our medical social rides. The possibilities are kind of endless with this one, so I'm so very excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to the Middlesex Savings Bank and Middlesex Savings Bank Charitable Foundation, who donated money to the Friends, which they then gifted us. So, just thank you, thank you.
Yes. That's very exciting, actually.
It's
very exciting.
It's thrilling.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers are just growing and growing, and our transportation program is just gonna explode soon.
All right. Hard to follow that announcement. We're done, though, maybe.
Yes.
So.
Meeting's over.
All right. Public input. Anyone have anything they would like to ask or speak about right at the moment?
Oh, I just wanted to introduce, we have two interns here. We have Ryan from Salem State, he's been here before, and then we have Kristen from Northeastern, who's doing her public health internship with our social club.
Oh, welcome, Kristen.
Welcome to the meeting, guys.
Yes. We love having interns. So.
Yes.
Yes. Great. All right. Moving on then, down to accepting the minutes. You have the copy, you received the copy of the minutes a few days ago of the January 13th meeting. I will entertain a motion if you do not have any corrections. Bob, yes.
I just noticed that at one point in the minutes, it said something about the LGBT community, and the wording was funny. So,
Not the code of conduct.
announcements?
Under
The only thing I see.
number 8, reports, the outreach coordinator's monthly report, 8. Second page, top page. Under, about. what's
General
that?
Silent, the movie,
Jen Silent?
Gen Silent movie, the very last bullet or dash. Bob. Here.
Yeah, okay. That wasn't what it was, though. It was a comment saying that, was a comment saying that our staff was going to be working with, the Baptist Church, the Unitarian Church, and the LBG, and it
I don't see anything to that effect.
okay. Don't worry about it. It just, it was almost as though it said it was going to present education to the LBG community, and I think the idea is that it's going to present education to the town about LBG.
Okay.
I'll look through what we have, see if I see anything.
Anyone else have anything?
I'll make a motion to accept the COA board minutes from Monday, January 13th as written.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? We have a motion to approve the minutes from the January 13th, 2020 meeting. All those in favor? Aye?
I
Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Sue. Okay. Barbara McCray, are you our guest? We have a lot of
Okay.
friends here today. That's nice.
Hi, everybody. Okay, I just wanted to say that the Friends Luncheon, as you know, is a little early this month, but we take the room when we can get it, and we had to take it a little earlier this month. And the theme is Mardi Gras. Tiny's Restaurant is catering it. We're happy to have them. And it's going to be chili and coleslaw, cornbread and dessert, and there might be a salad. I think there is, but I'm not recalling. Yeah, the coleslaw. And we have Roger Ticknell playing Delta Blues for entertainment. Our colors are purple, yellow, and green, in case anybody wants to wear any of the colors. And we want to thank the Rotary because they're coming to help serve. And also, I want to thank everyone that, the Light Department, Park and Rec, and anyone that has come to help us serve the lunches, because it really has worked out so well. We don't have to have a line and everybody waiting their turn, and the line is very long. So it's such a pleasure to have everyone come and help serve. And maybe other organizations will want to do the same. We'll try to get some. All right, and let's see. We have, okay, next month is going to be St. Patrick's Day, of course, and we're going to celebrate that.
Green again.
Yes, and Neshoba Tech is going to cater that, and everybody loves having them come to cater, so we're looking forward to that. Of course, the luncheons are still $5 for residents and $7 for non-residents. And we, at one time, didn't charge, but we decided that we needed to do that to supplement what we pay out for the caterers, which can be a lot. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's something else that we're doing. Oh, April, we won't have a luncheon because the seniors are invited to the high school. teens do that one, so we won't have a luncheon. And then we will have volunteer lunch after that in May. So plan on going to the high school for the senior lunch in April. Then, of course, our board talked a lot about giving the money towards the van, and it was voted by almost everyone to go ahead and do this payment. We did, I do want to say something about fundraising, because I know that that's our job, and I know that we've been told that we should fundraise. But whether you realize it or not, and I know you don't know this, is that I believe, I can't even tell you how many years the Friends have been fundraising for a senior center. And so we had a little money put aside for that, and we still want to be able to help one way or another the day that senior center is there. So we'll continue the fundraising. We're not going to, I'm not speaking for my board necessarily, I'm speaking for myself, that I don't want to start major fundraising until we know what your goal is. Like, we need to know how much money so we can have a thermometer and say, we want to raise $1 million. And we need to know that there's something we can tell people is going forward, or we're just collecting money. And so we need to know these things to get the major fundraising started. But do remember that this isn't new to us, and we have been putting some money aside to start this. And when the time comes, we can include that in our, if we still have $3 million at the time, in our thermometer, okay? So I don't want you to think that I'm saying to my board, you can't fundraise. I'm saying we need to have more facts before we can say to people, yes, here's the plan, this is what we need in money. And then I know people will be interested. But to go out and say we're fundraising for a future senior center, people want to know when, what, where.
We're getting there. I think,
Pardon?
I said, we're getting there, I
Yeah,
hope.
oh, yeah, that I know. That's why I'm bringing it up now, because I know that this is happening, but I want you to let us know as soon as we can actually say, this is it, guys, and we need buku bucks, okay? So my board and I will, again, talk about this. They're finding this out right now, what I just said, but we have been, remember, we are always fundraising.
Well, your thrift shop is a fundraising.
Well, this is where we
Project
get
for
most
you.
of our money
That's right.
and donations from people.
That's right.
But the thrift shop does well. By the way, I think that I'm a good advertisement for the thrift shop. Shop at the thrift shop.
Well, you know, I rode up in the elevator this afternoon when I arrived, you know, about a little afternoon, with a lady, and she was going to the second floor, and she said to me, I just love the thrift shop here. So we were talking about it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But no, that's where we do well, and that's where we, you know, have the
Right.
money. Other than that, I mean, we do want
recognize that.
donations.
It's ongoing. You've been ongoing fundraising for a long time. And
Years.
paying the $5 for these lunches is such a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Even $5 doesn't, it's a wonderful meal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that helps too with the fundraising, because then your money is not being used, you know, some more money can go towards whatever.
Right.
So,
So we did pull some of that money for the van, and we wanted to.
we're getting there.
You know, basically, I just want to tell you that I am proud of the Friends Board. They are workers, and they work hard. So, anyway, now I'm going to turn this over to Nancy, because I know she's waiting to get this spot. She can make all her announcements.
Anita, do you want?
And thank you for your kind words.
Anita wants to say something, I think, I don't know.
But
I'm sorry.
I want to clear something up from your board meeting.
Certainly.
And today. When I spoke at your board meeting last week saying that I felt that fundraising should start now and be ongoing, I was thinking of the library and how the library went out and said, we need a new library.
Sure,
And they started collecting money, and they collected money for years.
sure,
in
like
order
us.
to get a big pot. And I just thought that if your board was continuing to fundraise, even though we don't know the size of the building or the place of the building, that would give us more money when we know that, because it's gonna be a huge dollar amount, and the more we get, that's how I was feeling.
Well, of course.
So that's why I said what I did, and I.
Actually, though, Anita, I wasn't making that speech because of you. I was just making it in
No,
general.
I know, because that's how, and I still contend that we should do as much as we can,
Well, we do.
so.
So
And
that's what I'm
You're
trying to.
working very hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you, that don't think that we haven't been.
No, I know you have been.
So,
for several years.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, but we still need, and the library also had a plan. So that's where we're going now, to that
Okay,
plan.
well, we're working on the plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then, soon as they can tell us a dollar amount too, so we can have that, we'll make a bigger thermometer. We'll have them all over town, every street corner. But, okay, let Nancy take over.
You will be disappointed that I don't have much to say. But I wanted you to know, we had a new function start today. People have been talking for years about having a singing group, a senior singing group, or a musical instrument, and we had our first meeting today. There were 7 that showed up, and out of that 7, I know it's going to grow. We started with 2, and just this last 2 weeks, we brought it up to 7. So Mark Corey came down to give us some advice. Barbara McCrae came just to aggravate me. No, Barbara came to offer her support. And so we're going to meet every other week, starting at 12:30. And they are excited. I'm excited for them. I don't play an instrument and I don't sing, but I wanted to get it started because it's been talked about for so long. And we'll see if there's a need. The people, all of them that showed up wanted to do this for fun. Very few of them wanted to ever perform, but if they had to, they might consider it. Barbara told them, if you get good enough, we'll put you in one of our shows. And then they were, what?
Do you know the day of the week?
Monday, every Monday.
Every Monday?
12:30 to 1:30?
Every other.
Every
Monday.
month,
Well,
every
they
other
can-
Monday.
And people can call the COA office for room location
It's
and
in-
everything?
It's in the broadcaster.
Well, you can still call, though.
Oh, yes, call.
Yeah.
Yes, well, they will call, because that's in the broadcaster. But they didn't know where until Liz told me to try room 103, and it was available. Yay. And so I have to check with Diane Corey to see if that's still free for other updates of our meeting. And
Okay, so that, if they're looking for, like you said, they're going to meet every other week, so, yeah. Just call the office if you're looking for information about the room or something.
Nancy?
yeah,
Mondays, there is a selectmen's meeting or meetings in that room too, towards the evening. So what time did you say they would be meeting?
12:30 to 1:30.
Okay. They did choose that room because of the acoustics too,
Yes.
because they felt the multi-purpose room was kind of big and it wouldn't really sound good. We're going to move the piano in there.
Okay,
Yeah.
David?
just in case anybody doesn't remember or who wasn't here in the 50s, that was the band room.
Oh, really?
It was.
See?
Cool.
That's, yeah, very
There you
nice.
go. It's a natural, right?
All right.
We have banjo, we have guitar, we have ukulele, flute, and piano.
Oh, that's good. Good
Is
start.
there a conductor?
Me. No, no. No conductor. Next week, we're going to try with the singing, we're going to try with instruments. Today was just to brainstorm and see how we wanted to go and handle this, but next week, we're going to get a little serious. 2 weeks, I keep saying next week. I'll probably show up. You want to join?
Can't read
You
music.
want to join? I may. You may. Cool. All right. Thank you.
That's very exciting.
It is very exciting.
All right, thank you both very much. Okay, moving on, under old business.
Code of conduct.
Code of conduct. This is Liz's
I
little,
actually don't have it with me. I'm
Oh.
sorry about that.
that's okay. We were
I will
gonna,
bring
she
that
just was
next.
gonna bring the, we can
Edited.
table that, the edited copy so that we could all see it from our last meeting, that's all. So we'll
Sorry about
table
that.
that until next month, it's okay. Maureen, what's happening with the Affordable Housing Trust Fund?
Well, unfortunately, I was not able to go last month, so I cannot tell you anything new other than what had happened before. As Liz just said, there are two slots still open in the lottery.
For the Cooper.
Yeah.
I did go to the meeting for the first part to do the rental assistance program. Presented 3 new applications, all 3 got approved. Still have about 10, 12 slots open for the rental assistance program.
So, it's moving along.
Let's move on.
Yep, great, thank you. All right, the visibility of the COA, Nita, we were talking last month about the TV show. Anita and Susan have agreed to kind of take this on, so can you give us a little update?
Well, we first met with Nicole and Mark a week and a half or so ago to tell them what we wanted to do and what would be feasible. And it was, I think it wasn't a meeting of the minds exactly, because we had no idea what was involved. They had no idea what we wanted to do. And what we wanted to do seemed to be too much in the wrong way. Correct me, Sue, if I'm wrong. And we went out of there kind of discouraged as to what way to go next. And then we met with Mark again last week, the end of the week. And he gave us more in depth what is required. And he explained that doing a 30-minute show of this kind is really wrong because people don't want to listen to that. If we're just, giving out information, they're not going to listen to 30 minutes. And it would be better if we did something shorter, like a 15-minute spot. And if we give them less to begin with, and they like what they see, they'll ask for more. If we give them too much now, and they get bored, then they're not going to watch it. So we talked back and forth how it was going to be done. And Mark said that he would be glad to edit our program for us. We don't know how much of editing is going to be done because we kind of see it the way we did the Catholic Heart program, but it may not work out that way. So he has agreed already that he's making a backdrop for us with the COA and Elder Services logo on the back. And Sue and I went away to put a program together to see how we wanted to start. And we want to meet with Liz to make sure that what we're doing in the beginning is first, but we kind of wanted, as a beginning, to introduce ourselves, and then to talk about what is the COA and what do they do, and what is EHS, what do they do, and what services are available as our first beginning, and then break out from that. And what else did we really come away with?
Well, we talked about that we're hoping to have a show like once a month, and each month highlight a different either COA program or EHS program, or new grants or whatever is happening in that department.
And
Just update and information.
And we kind of thought it might be a neat idea that if we could have another board member come each month to expose each board member, this is Bob Stetson, this is Patty, and just so everybody knows who everybody is.
Mhm.
If that's something that the board would like us to do, we'll leave that entirely up to you. We see Liz being at the first meeting, kind of asking us questions or answering our questions, and then going from there. And hopefully, it won't be this week, but hopefully by the end of next week, we will have our first show ready to be,
Wow.
ready to be published.
Great.
We're hoping.
We're hoping.
If we do it all right.
We're hoping.
And Liz agrees and Mark agrees, we'll be all set. Otherwise, we'll have to go back and revamp it.
Sounds great. Bob?
Anita, have they backed off from saying that you have to film your own show now? The studio
Yes,
was going to
yes.
do that for you?
Yes.
Because I knew, I heard about the discussion, and I knew that that's what they had told the church, that they had to do their own.
Yes,
you know,
we
they
had to
bring
take
it the
classes.
public. And it didn't surprise me, because the studio just doesn't do this and so I'm glad to hear that they're going to do it for you.
Well, Mark said that he kind of misunderstood that this was a town board, and they want to do everything they can to promote town board and the town board activities. And he said for what we want to do, the editing that he would have to do would be very little.
Okay.
And that he thought it was more important for him to
But it's
do it.
even the filming.
To do it.
Because with the church, they wanted, if we wanted to put on a service, we had to
Right.
actually.
And they mentioned that
And
to
they had
us.
to go through training on how to do it, what to
Right.
use and so forth. Okay,
Yeah, and
that's
he
fine.
did mention that you had asked, and that it was something that it had to be done by you people, and he said the reason for that is because so many outside departments and places, it would be way, way too much for them to be able to do it all. But for a town department, he felt it was the right thing to do for him to
Super.
edit it for us. So that's why that's gonna happen.
That's great. Barbara?
Well, I think that what Mark was thinking of was that all of us, like even myself, learned camera and editing. I used to do all my own camera work and editing. So I think this training is good, though, for anyone doing a show. So I think he was thinking along those lines, but then realized, what you're doing, he can edit.
Yeah, because we're not doing a show like yours or
Yeah.
anything that big.
Right.
And if it's done the way we did our Catholic Heart, he said there would be hardly any editing, because we would just promote the
Great.
information
Well, that's good.
Good idea.
and so we're looking forward to it. We hope we don't make a mess and fall apart.
Oh, I'm confident.
We're
you won't.
hoping.
Oh,
Anita,
sure.
there's editing.
Good thing.
No, you
You're
made
gonna
a lot
look
of
good.
progress. That's a lot of progress, really, when you think about it.
It's
And-
very
and-
involved.
Yeah, it is involved, and you're making good progress, so.
And I think what he said about the editing and filming and stuff is a good idea for people to take, but it's an 8-hour course divided up over 4 times. And that's something that I wasn't foreseeing with the little bit that we wanted to do to be that involved. But I think if there are seniors listening to this who have an interest in filming or recording, Mark said he would definitely hold classes and teach
Wow.
any senior who would want to do it, and then that senior might be able to give time to us and take the editing away from him. So if there's anyone that, listening today that wants to come in and talk to Mark, I'm sure he'd listen.
Right.
We could even do it as a senior tax
I was
work-off
just
opportunity.
thinking that. I was just
Yeah.
thinking that. It might be a great tax.
new position.
Yeah, new position.
And it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds it.
So, people listening, pass the word. If you're not interested, get the word out. So, that would be really great. Yeah. And I'm sure there are people out there that, have an interest in that. So, thank you both, everyone, for all the work and effort you've put into it thus far. It's time consuming. So, thank you. Okay, all right. And we,
I'd like to make a suggestion.
yes,
If we move the working group for the senior change down to the bottom of the page and do new business and the reports first, and then spend the rest of the time on that, if that's agreeable to everybody.
do you all want to do that? It's fine by me if the board agrees to it.
He hadn't made a motion yet.
I know, but you want,
I
you
so
want to
move.
consider. He's so
Second.
moved.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor of just moving the working group, going over the architect's recommendations, actually,
Make it-
down to the last item on the agenda,
7C?
7C. And that way, we will be done when we're done with that discussion.
Well, actually, it wouldn't be 7C, it would be 8D, but 6D, but it would be at the bottom.
Let's not get too technical.
Yeah. We can handle
My
that.
portion-
We'll handle it. So, okay.
My portions won't take too long.
No. All those in favor of adjusting the agenda?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, then, we are under new business, and Liz has some information about a new grant.
Sure, yep.
Another one.
Another one. We've been really busy writing grants. We just received notification that we were approved for another one through CHNA 15. And this was a training grant for staff to be approved to take the QPR training, which is Question, Persuade, Refer, which is a suicide prevention training. So myself, Nicole, and Amy will all be trained on how to be a gatekeeper for QPR, and then we'll be able to train all town hall staff, all people in the community boards, anyone who needs to know how to identify the warning signs of a potential suicide, what to say to someone while they're in crisis, and how to get immediate help in a crisis. We've experienced some tragedies recently, and this is in reaction to that. We would like to be more proactive in these types of situations. Yes, Bob?
Bob?
Would you not use word letters? You would just spell out what you're saying?
Question,
Not-
persuade, refer. Question, persuade, refer. QPR.
Question, persuade,
Refer.
and refer.
Okay.
It's kind of like CPR, but QPR.
Okay.
Okay.
Maureen's laughing at me.
How much is the grant?
Just under 1,500. I think it was like 1,485.
We need to vote to accept it.
I don't think we do.
No,
Do we vote to
No.
accept grants?
No,
no.
not really. Liz can just accept it and it gets
Yeah.
just.
Well, I have to bring it to the selectmen too.
Right, the selectmen
Get
have to.
approved, too.
That's why I wanted.
Okay.
Sometimes in the past, they have asked for our recommendations about grants, but I don't believe to just accept a grant that's
Yeah,
indicated.
that's why we usually, vote our approval when we bring it to the selectmen.
Or our recommendation of it, but it's not necessary, I don't believe, so.
Okay. I will put it on for next time for acceptance. 'Cause I think I already put it on the
Yeah.
selectments. Okay, so that was the grant.
As long as we're informed and we know what's going on, that's the key thing, I think.
I will definitely let you know.
Okay. And then we are moving right down into the director's report and then the outreach coordinator's report.
Okay. So Nicole had to leave unexpectedly, so I will just incorporate her report into mine. So first, department updates. I already mentioned that we received that gift from the Friends for $21,000. Thank you again. The budget was granted a preliminary approval as requested, which is almost a 10% increase from last year to incorporate some more staff hours, which is fantastic. We got the training grant, and we also have a new exciting program coming up starting in April, at the end of April. We're doing it in collaboration with Parks and Rec, and we're doing 2 programs. One's called Senior Adventures, and one is going to be a hike along the Bruce Freeman Trail. So these are really exciting things that we don't have the staff power to do, to lead hiking groups or anything like that. So we're collaborating with them. They're providing the staff members to lead it. Financially, with the cost of the program, it's all being funneled through our department first, so it's not, there's no confusion whose program this is. This is our program together. The Senior Adventures program is, I think it's a 6-week program, and each week you do a different activity with a bagged lunch. So there's going to be a bird watching, nature hike activity. I think there's strawberry picking activity, a couple different kind of really active type hike adventures. So that's coming up in April. We'll put that in the newsletter when it's finalized. I think they're around $60 for the whole sessions, so that should be really fun. So
Excuse
any
me, Liz.
question? Yeah.
Do you know when it's going to start in April, or is it still up in the air?
I think it's end of April, like the very end, but I'll definitely get the information out there when it's ready to go. So we're really doing this as kind of a pilot to see how to share resources better, because going through the whole budget process, we realize there's a limited amount of resources for everyone. So on that same topic, you might have also seen this water aerobics class that we're doing starting in March. We already have a couple of Littleton seniors signed up. So this we're doing in collaboration with the Westford Cameron Center. So we're pooling our resources to be able to afford this class and offer it at a reasonable rate. So this is in the newsletter. There's flyers hanging around. It's a 4-week class for
We don't have that.
$25. It's not in your packets. I just printed this off. But I can pass it around if you want to take down the information.
When's that one starting?
March 4th. Amy has a nice color copy to pass around. But space is limited.
Where is it?
At Westfit.
Westford at the Regency?
No, it's called West Fit. I think it's on Littleton Road in Westford.
It's just before where the old Chelmsford Drive-In used to
Okay.
be.
Oh, okay.
Way up, right on the Chelmsford west line.
Should be really fun.
If
That
that's,
should
the-
be. Go,
if that's
Nancy.
the pool that I think it is, I did go there to do an exercise aerobic training, and I couldn't stand in the pool, I'm too short. That's true.
They did say that you can be in the shallow end if you need to
Right.
be.
I got off the stairs and I was like,
Nancy.
Now they tell you.
Yeah, so we're trying to be fiscally responsible and pool our resources and provide more for less. So that's coming up. Let's see, what else is on the report? Some great activities. Tomorrow we have tea with Eleanor Roosevelt, hearing screenings. We had to move that to room 207, the assessor's office downstairs, to accommodate all of our programs that are happening tomorrow. Hal Arthur's Veterans Social Group is starting this week. Any veterans come to that? I think, Bob, you had signed up. Hal's group.
I was supposed to be signed up for Nancy's today, and I forgot all about it.
Oh, geez, okay, we'll call and remind you. Our CBD craze, facts and common misconceptions got so big, we had to move it downstairs to room 103 to accommodate everyone who had signed up.
That's great.
Yeah,
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 that's great.
over 20 for that one. And then just for some statistics, if you flip over the director's report, kind of bouncing back on our rides, 303 rides. There were 812 total recorded check-ins last month, and we hit a record high for outreach services in the past 2 fiscal years for 382 client contacts
Wow.
in 1 month.
Wow.
Wow.
Oof.
Yep. So the high for last year was 374 in 1 month. So we're getting busy.
good thing, good signs, though.
Nicole's report is on the back here. It just has the breakdown of the numbers of how many people are looking for what services. It looks like the high is general information, financial management, and support. So this form is an Elder Affairs, Executive Office of Elder Affairs form. It's not very user-friendly, but we have to do this one every month.
Does this get reported to the state?
Yes. Yep.
How about your report? Did your report go to the state?
This, no. I do like a narrative that goes with this to the state every year, and that's how we receive the formula grant money. So my narrative, these numbers annually, the combination of the two.
Very exciting.
Am I missing anything, Amy? Outreach-wise?
Nope, the only thing that says that there was a couple events that you really mentioned that one.
Ukulele lady this week?
18th.
18th?
18th.
And then we have the LGBTQ presentation led by the director of the LGBTQ Aging Project, Lisa Pinsky. That presentation will be at the First Baptist Church of Livingston on the 27th from 3 to 5. And at the end of March, we have Life Ahead starting, which is
Oh, that's right.
Join Others in Recovery for a Light Dinner Support, Social Engagement, and Discussion. So that'll be in our next podcast as well.
So we have a new group starting, so we had an addictions recovery support group called Healing Conversations, and we lost the group leader on that one, so now we're starting a new one. Instead of Healing Conversations, this is going to be called Life Ahead, and it's for those who are in recovery from drug or alcohol addiction, coming together as a social support, doing, just kind of like a sober social. And it's going to be a monthly event, and they'll get together, have dinner, and just discuss. This is an all ages group, so anyone can attend.
You people are busy, busy. Yes, Nancy.
When I was up to speak, I forgot to say something important. Amy, Nicole, and I have met with the person from IBM, and some of the employees at IBM want to help the seniors. One of the things we were asked to work on was they would like a list of things that we need that they can supply for us. This is not IBM, this is individuals that have gotten together, and so we have to make a list. So I would like you to think of things, throw by Liz or Marge, and just send them to me or Amy and Nicole, but copy me on it, because the lady was very, very excited about this, and they want to come February 19th with some of their children. They think it's very important that their children learn about their elders and how to treat them with respect. And they have to be quarried, and being quarried is causing a problem only because of time. They won't be ready by February 19th. So we are working on that, and I'll talk to Amy when the meeting is over. But, so I need your help, because I don't know what you need. I know what we need. Just write down some stuff, okay?
What are you talking, what kind of things are you talking about?
Stamps and grocery gift cards. There we go. There's two
Non-age
things.
restricted gift
Did you
cards.
say, Bob?
What kind of things are you asking about?
I don't know.
I mean, are you talking about gym equipment, or are you talking about?
Things that we need now. We don't have a gym to put the stuff in, so.
Okay.
Some of the departments at IBM are leaving, and I was going to ask if we could have the things that they're not taking, like office equipment or exercise equipment, but where are we gonna put it? We have no place to put it.
If we could get exercise equipment though, is there some place that, or someone that we can talk to about having, well, either storage or having some place that it could be put on an interim basis until we get further along,
I think
as
that-
opposed to having it disappear.
the thing is too, I think when you're talking about exercise equipment, you need to know a little bit about it too, to know what you're accepting. So, yeah, I mean,
Well,
that's, because sometimes it doesn't work out well,
Yeah.
that's all.
Also, you would want it in a place that if it would rust at all, you don't want it to rust. I mean, you have to be careful about the time it's stored too, because
Sure.
exercise equipment changes all the time. We may find that it's old
Right.
stuff.
That's why I think it's, with something like that. But there are things like, obviously, Liz just suggested gift cards and stamps. Stamps are always needed. So it can be, something as small as that and then something else. So put your thinking caps on. Maybe it's something for a particular group that's coming up. Maybe something for the music group. Maybe people have around their homes. I don't know either. But yes, Anita.
Is it items, or can we request donations of money? What do you think, Bill? What do you think?
Donations of money will come later. Right now, they just want a list of things that we need. But we will ask for money later.
They might want to see what they're, where it's going and what,
Kleenex.
Kleenex.
Well, Kleenex.
Kleenex, hand soap.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
Sanitizer.
Oh, Clorox table wipes.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Liz can put the
Somebody
list
making
together, I'm
lists.
sure. I don't,
Air freshener.
I'm sure some
They're
of you
gonna
might
get
have
their kids
ideas.
involved.
Yes.
Maybe there would be a program. Annalee, we had talked about grandmothers and children. Maybe we could do something like that so that they could see, those kids could see how to work with older people and just do a quick thing.
Yeah, well, we can talk and see what they're.
You can do that after your meeting. I don't want
Yeah.
to delay
Yeah,
it.
right, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Very exciting. Thanks, Nancy, for remembering that.
I move the reports be accepted.
All right, I have a motion to accept the director's report and the outreach coordinator's monthly report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous, thank you. All right, yes,
Hi, Danny.
Patty,
Okay, thank you.
yep,
They're sitting over by me, does anyone mind?
okay. So, I think we have covered everything and we're ready to move into the issue of, I lost my agenda here, here it is. Of the space needs and the LLB report to the selectmen. In your package, you have this handout called a synopsis. And I think all of you were here when I suggested you number the pages in your packet. Because if you look at this synopsis, the very top, there are 3 bullets, and I'm just going to quickly go over those. The first bullet is the fact that LLB, the architects, did not recommend that the town purchase 255 Great Road to meet the space needs of the town. And then the second bullet is their slides, which you have. These are the big 11 by 15 or something sheets, numbered 1 through 14, and that's where the numbers come in. Represent the establishment of baseline data which looked at existing space, proposed space, and space needed for future growth. And then the third bullet was that they identified that EHS and Park and Rec have the greatest need in square footage. Approximately 32,000 square feet combined of all the town departments. In other words, the finance department does not need as much space as, Park and Rec and others, but everybody needs space. There's no question about that. But they did make a comment about that.
Excuse
So
me,
yes,
before you go on too far,
yeah,
what is GSF?
that's square footage, I don't know.
General square foot.
General square feet.
Thank you.
So, and that's page 1, and that page is the one that shows you for all of the different departments, the existing space, the proposed space, and the future growth space. And future growth is 10 more years.
Gross square feet, sorry. Gross
Oh,
square feet.
gross square
Gross.
feet, sorry. Gross square feet,
Thank
gee.
you, Andy.
That's just a guess.
Square footage.
It's square footage, anyway. So the most important thing is, it's hard to understand the slides, in a
Extremely
way.
so.
Pardon me?
Extremely so.
So what we tried to do was Patty, Liz, and I worked on this handout for you. And we took information from watching the tape. I was at that meeting, and I came out of there totally confused that night.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And so I probably have watched that selectmen's meeting 4 times now. But, with pen and pencil and trying to take notes. We had some notes from the working group. The working group, Space Needs Working Group, did meet a week ago last Friday. It wasn't last, it was past Friday, right. And we had a few notes from that. And let me just tell you right now, before we get into the schemes and discussing those, I have not heard any feedback, but I know that Nina was talking about getting, and has asked the architects for high-level cost estimates on some of these drawings. And I don't know, I think that she was gonna talk to them last week, Wednesday, I'm not sure, I don't have that feedback yet, we don't have it, maybe, I haven't heard anything either, so, but that's in the works, I know she has asked them for it. And that, so money, as far as how much things are going to cost, will be coming, just so you know.
But we don't know what they are now.
No, we do not, so, but keep that in mind. So, if you look, there were 6 schemes that they presented to the Board of Selectmen. Scheme 1 is pages 15 and 16 in your pack. And then you can, find it, take a look at the bullets, and it pretty well describes what it's all about. If you look, everything is color-coded. So EHS is pink. Park and Rec is orange. Just so you know. And if you take a look at your bullets, it says EHS is on the first floor of Shattuck Street, and this is an assessment looking at Shattuck Street, this building, including the soon-to-be vacated library. Yep. So you have that library space. If you see in your diagrams over to the left, they're color-coded. They're including that. There's no space in the 3rd floor, I guess, in the library. I forget what they talked about there, up in the 3rd floor.
It's
That's the
smaller.
children's room.
The children's room,
There's a
right,
ton of
small.
room.
No?
Yes, so there is space, but not that rectangle. That's for
Right.
the 2nd floor.
Right.
Okay.
So 3rd floor is a bit smaller than the 2nd floor
All right.
in the library.
But they came to the conclusion, and then town administration is all on the 3rd floor and the school department, and they came to the conclusion there's not enough square footage in the building to do everything. Yes, Dave?
That means to everybody's like. In other words, what everybody wants, their wish and dreams, is not enough size. Correct?
I did not look at the square footage. Let's see, we got 50, I didn't add that up. But that was their comment. It says missing building area, 15,959 square general.
Those color bars, is that the missing square feet?
Yeah, so that is how much extra each department needs
which is not
in
shown.
addition to those, yeah.
Also, all of that is missing from
Mhm.
in here for each department.
So for us, we would get everything but 1,848 square feet.
Yes.
Okay. And as I said, their conclusion was it doesn't fit.
You don't have square feet.
Patty, do you have something? No? Excuse me?
I said, at the risk of being rude, we knew that there's not enough space.
Right, well, but they were doing their job, you know, that they, and so, all right,
And the other,
yes, David?
I'm sorry, the other thing that they assume here is, we're looking at, it looks like Park and Rec. It just looks like the cable TV just disappeared. Gone.
No, it's.
It's gone.
Been in there for the
Yep, it doesn't fit in the building.
Yeah,
It's
right.
all of it is over here on the side.
It's this one.
So they were basically just showing, so they had to explore every single option, even if it didn't work. So they put it in
Yeah.
color for us.
Okay,
May I mention something?
yes, Barbara.
Dave, they mentioned putting, and I don't understand this too well, putting the cable studio where multi-purpose room is. My question is, maybe you know, Liz, is, in this, is there a room for the luncheons and activities that we use the multi-purpose room for?
In
And the
scheme,
kitchen?
in scheme 1? Or all the schemes?
Oh, yeah. I'm not seeing it.
So, a very large program room, enough to hold at least 125 people, was factored into all of the schemes. That was one of the must-haves for our department.
Do they mark it here, or did you
Right.
mark it?
Um,
Because that was my curiosity about the diner and holding big activities.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where that was, and I don't understand.
So this is still like a high level.
They did, in other words, they didn't break it down specifically to, like, first floor is all,
All us.
All of our, all EHS.
COA, and you're considered COA. So everything on the first floor is all of us.
And we would have to figure out how to use
They
it.
just haven't broken it down that this is where
Maintenance and.
we're gonna be, this is where the kitchen is, that's probably
yeah.
gonna stay where it is.
And selectmen meeting room and things like that. It's too bad, because it would be nice
But
to
this
know
is-
that all that's included.
As Marge said, this is very
These are-
high level. It's not been broken down to specifics where multipurpose would be, where our offices would be, where
So
interview
then,
would be.
that means that you could even get less.
No.
Well, we're saying this scheme
no.
does not work.
This scheme doesn't work anyway. They're
Yeah.
saying it doesn't work, so it's not worth spending any time on it.
Okay.
I'm not going there.
Those are questions.
Sue has a.
That's the amount of square footage.
Sue,
that we-
yes.
All right, that's not
Didn't they
included
base
down
the
here.
square footage, Liz, on not what we wanted, but what the state recommended, per
that's our-
person senior?
Yeah.
Wasn't that how, it's
So-
not like, we wanted this is what we should have, yeah.
That's-
Right. So they took a lot of factors into consideration. They even had a report written by the previous director on how much space we needed. So they took that into consideration, asked me if I agreed with that concept. Then they met with me, Marge, and Patty, and we went over it again and said, this is what we absolutely need, and this is what we want in Dream World. This is the big picture, what we'll need in the future.
But
And so that, they know all of that. And, you know, the issue, we haven't finished looking at the schemes, but, you know, we have to figure out what our immediate needs are first, to get us at least in, I mean, we are suffering greatly, we all know. And we need to do that. We need to figure out, and then 10 years from now, and even Cindy Napoli has said, it has to be a phased, that was the word she used, a phased plan we have to come up with. So, we're not necessarily going to get the total square footage that we will need in the year 2030. Right, soon, fast. We don't know. But the bottom line is, we need to decide which of these schemes might we possibly think would be the best to further explore. And where they said, this isn't going to work, scheme 1, I don't think we should waste our time on it, personally.
Yeah, oh, that's good, but still have
So,
questions.
Well, the LCTV does come up later on in
No,
the
I wasn't
schemes.
even gonna talk about them. I'm talking about us,
Okay,
seniors.
can we figure, okay, then when we get to that scheme, do you want to make
Well,
comments?
okay, but it was with what you were saying.
Oh,
I
okay.
just wanted to remind ourselves something, that all these months, we've been talking about what will happen in the future and how much we need, and we need to look forward to that amount of space. Now we're cutting back, and that means we start all over again, and how many years?
No, we're not cutting back,
Not cutting back.
Bob. Not cutting back.
Robert, you
Well,
have to,
from what we said we needed.
No, we haven't. No, we are not.
Okay,
You're not cutting
On
back.
that pic- on this one, and they said it doesn't work.
okay. Yeah, I know.
So you gotta look.
I've
All
heard.
right, David?
Well, it's just, the library's leaving. That space is gonna get opened up. We need a senior center, Park and Rec wants more. Everybody has an idea in their head what they want for a senior center. Right now, this space becomes available for senior, for EHS and COA to spread out a little bit. And it doesn't mean that that's the end, not in my mind.
No.
It just means, okay, we need a little bit more elbow room, now let's get to business and get what we need.
But is it,
That's the way I would think of this.
That's the phased approach Marge just mentioned.
Yeah,
Good.
and Patty?
I'm just saying, yes, I agree. And that's one of the schemes if we can get to it. And I think we also need to follow Marge's request at the beginning that when we want to speak, we raise our hand because we're all talking at once and we're all lost.
Yep.
But we need to keep in mind, these are high-level proposals. And we're not just talking COA and Park and Rec. We're talking the whole town. And I know we're making it personal because it is personal to us. But we can't just deal with personal. We have to keep in mind that we are, to put it bluntly, in competition. And
We are.
let's not fight the competition, let's work with the competition. This whole first floor is us, all of
Okay.
us here. The second floor is
Park and Rec.
Park and Rec, and the top floor is administration.
Great.
Put it bluntly, it ain't gonna work because we can't fit there as we exist now.
Correct.
Yeah,
So it's not feasible.
so forget
So
it.
can we move on to the next one?
So-
What
Move on
Andy
to
has
the
had, he's trying to raise his hand over there.
First.
Go ahead.
No,
You know, you might, people can't hear you on TV if you don't come up closer to a
I
microphone.
don't want to be heard on TV, but,
Well, that's not fair.
no, I looked at this as, they presented every possible scheme, and this one was, if we don't build any more buildings, leave it as is and modify what we have now. This is the scheme, and we say that's not enough. So I say scheme one is not feasible.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Shouldn't even be talking about it.
Thank you, thank you. We're moving on. Scheme 2. All right, scheme 2, pages 17, 18, and 19. In this scheme, they have EHS is out of Shattuck Street, and if you look in a building off to the right, it's a one-level building, and they call that the north site, near the new library.
And on the back of the page is
You can find it.
a picture of it in more detail.
And then you have all other departments remaining in Shattuck Street. EHS moves out to a separate building. This is scheme 2. Yes, Maureen.
So the pink on scheme 2, is that EHS or is that the new library?
No, it's pink. No,
us.
that's us.
Down here.
We are pink.
The new library's in gray at the top.
Thank you, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Who's who?
All right?
Marge, could I have your permission to invite Amy to look at the tabs?
Absolutely.
Amy, do you wanna
Amy,
pull the
come.
chair?
So you can see.
We don't have another packet to hand out.
No.
Give her one. Okay. Now, the architect's comments were, this may be feasible, but there, are some concerns, and I will reference Mark Rambucker even spoke about this. He did not suggest that that was a good location, because the library really explored that area. And he raised at the selectmen's meeting, told them, he had concerns about that. He did say there might be, there's other space available they could use. So the comment that we wrote was, it may be feasible, but there are some concerns about the site feasibility, but they feel that this has potential. The architects feel this has potential.
What do you
But
mean by feasibility? Is the ground the wrong kind?
The
ground
the slope is very serious. I'm
David, go
sorry.
ahead. No, please.
The
you know.
slope is extremely steep, all right? And they're talking about putting it all the way down to the path, if you've ever been down the path. That's where the bottom of this building would be, way down there. So, it's, the amount of work that would need to be done to improve the site is almost, it's just crazy. And that was mentioned last week at the selectmen's meeting, and pretty much, I don't see how that would work, so.
However, isn't there potential for another area too? But anyway, go ahead. We're just looking at this drawing right now.
Yeah, just looking at this drawing.
Just looking at this drawing.
So if this site were feasible, I think it's a good option.
The idea, yes, I think it would be a great option.
So, Liz?
I agree.
I'm sorry. Marge, through you to Liz.
Yes.
Why is it that you think that this is feasible? Is it because it's got more space? Is it because of the layout? Can you give
Sure.
us some feedback?
The layout is just a mock-up. It has nothing to do with our actual needs, but it fits all of our square footage. So
So
as
the
compared
21,000 square feet?
Oh, 19,
Almost. It's 19 something.
19,260.
Right here.
It's right on your handout.
Turn it over your page.
Turn over your page.
19,297 square feet.
2,000 square feet of that is basement for storage.
Which would basically go to speak to the utilities and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's 2,000 square feet in the basement. Yes. Go ahead.
My concern would be that if that is the case, I would hope that they would put it in
You reading this?
structurally enough so that a second floor could be built onto it for future needs. If they don't do that, then you get to the future and you can't do anything with the building.
That's a good point.
But that's just
It is a
my
good
own
point.
comment. It has a large area which could be used with a divider, which could be used for large dinners. It has a number of large rooms for meeting rooms. It has a number of small rooms for offices and small, it really is viable, and we're by ourselves. And I'm talking about this picture.
Yep. Okay. So that's a possibility. It appears that that was maybe a possibility. Susan? No, you don't have? Okay. Andy, and then Nancy.
I like steam too, and if it's not feasible, I think this architectural company may have saw the lay of the land too, so maybe it's an argument about whether it's feasible or not, but I would suspect that we should probably take their word for it. If it's not, then we just that later. But I think it's a good plan.
They did say it had potential, they felt.
So, can I?
Yes, David?
Yeah, can I just, so last week it was very hard for me to see these things on the little screen.
Oh, I couldn't see him either.
And it was very hard for me to hear. I even got yelled at, they said, move up, so I did, and it still was, because they were talking away from me, I couldn't hear them that well. But what I'm seeing here is anything beyond scheme 2 involves another building.
Yeah, well,
All
it
the
does.
rest of them all involve
Okay, we're
another
gonna get
building.
there. We're getting there.
Okay, so that increases the cost, and I would just like to say, as a cable TV board member, okay, that the way the building is now, cable TV studio is right over there, okay, and everybody's, a lot of times people think that there's a lot of room in there. Well, it's because of the fact it's an old gym, but that's the studio. But let me just say that this room here that we're in, and 103, and anywhere else that has cameras in it, be it, and that's the fire station and the police station, is all wired through that room. So if that room has to disappear, all that stuff's gonna get disconnected until cable goes into someplace else where it can all be hitched back up again. And to me, that sounds like, it just sounds crazy. So my first concern would be to try and keep cable where it is and deal with the rest of it, but that's
Well,
just me.
that comes up again, in Scheme 3. There was a little bit of a discussion. I think that's when they first got into the discussion about LCTV,
Yes.
was Scheme 3.
Page,
Pages 20 and 21.
We need to address.
I'm sorry, Nancy.
My turn.
Yep, Nancy.
I also watched the selectmen's meeting that this is involving. I was not there. When Mark Ramacher spoke about this site maybe not being appropriate because the library looked out at it, Mark left, and then someone else in the audience, I don't know who it was, said that Mark was wrong. This is not the spot that Mark thought it was going to be at. It was at a different location. Now, you watched it probably 6 or 7 times.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I was just gonna say.
I'm not done.
Okay, go ahead.
I also think so far, scheme number 2 is the best.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say, we lost our recording secretary. Has anybody taken these, I think Dave's remarks were very appropriate.
We have the
but
tape.
nobody-
We have the tape.
She
She'll
watches
take
the
it.
tape
She
and-
watches the tape. She'll get it
Okay,
from that.
Okay, I'm just wondering if these things might get lost.
Thank you, thank you. Okay. Scheme 3, pages 20 and 21. Basically, Town Hall and the school department are in a new building on the north site in this scheme.
No, that's it.
EHS is on the second floor of Shattuck Street. LCTV is relocated to make the gym available as shared space by EHS and Park and Rec. And that's what David was just talking about when they talked about relocating, and they didn't say to where, but relocating LCTV. So, it's, oh, you didn't get yours numbered? This one. You're right.
I got it now.
Yeah, okay.
I was messed up.
You were messed up. Okay.
Favors.
And this is, and they clearly said this is probably not the best solution. And the issue is, I have concerns about EHS being on the second floor and having to run back and forth and all, it's just crazy as far as helping us in our determination of what's best for a senior center. That's my personal feeling about it. Patty,
This makes no sense to me.
okay.
Great, on scheme 3, I don't see any diagram like this of this EHS. I know it's this building here, but there's no definition of that building.
Yeah.
No.
They basically was
Yeah.
not.
So, that was, where am I now? We're on
Let's
3.
move to-
Okay. We're moving on to 4. 4 is on page 22. Okay.
Other pieces.
What's the problem? This is what, page 22.
I got that.
All right. They renovate Shattuck Street for Park and Rec and LCTV. In this one, they are suggesting, looking at demolishing the old library and building a new town hall. And you have EHS over in the north site.
So that's the
Just
same.
2 new buildings now they're talking about.
This is scheme 4?
Scheme
Yeah.
4.
Scheme 4, sorry.
We only have a spot on scheme 4, right?
No, you have,
So on
Yeah.
scheme 4,
Yes.
EHS is where we were before, on the right.
yes.
Library is still, library is still where it was in scheme 2.
Library's always gonna be in the same spot.
Library's not gonna move.
It's not
Oh.
moving.
I'm just
No,
referencing
No, just to be clear, though.
space.
That's not moving. The library's all set. It's not moving. you should just need to be looking at what's in the north site and Shattuck Street. That's all you need to be really paying attention to on any of the slides.
Yeah.
So, on 4, that's the story. You're demolishing the old library and put a new town hall where the current library is now. And you renovate Shattuck Street. It's one new building, I'm sorry. I said 2, and it's really 1.
It says they're demolishing the old library.
Right.
It doesn't say they're demolishing the whole town hall.
No, they're not. There's building.
This is what will be demolished and rebuilt for the town.
Blue is the town administrative offices,
administrative.
Right.
financial and building departments, the blues are. So essentially. And they admit, this is probably not the most efficient,
No.
cost-efficient plan. So I don't think we should spend much time talking about that either, personally.
Moving on.
So, moving on then to scheme 5. Oh,
Yeah,
David?
no, they're demolishing the newest part of the building.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it
Okay.
doesn't make much sense.
No, it doesn't.
So moving on to scheme 5, which is page 23. And that scheme, all of a sudden now, we have a bigger drawing on the left-hand side of Shattuck Street. And they suggest that maybe EHS and Park and Rec have their own separate spaces within a new 3-story building where the old library, what is soon to be the old library, was. In other words, take down the current library once the new one's built and put in a 3-story building over there
But make it bigger.
and making it bigger. And obviously, yep. And that might be viable.
Susan has a question.
Yes, Susan?
But they didn't give what the square footage
No,
for
they
that
didn't.
building is.
Well, we know if you go back to the first pages of the square footage that, and the combined square footage for Park and Rec and the library was, and EHS is 32,000 square feet.
Right.
I think the library square footage now is shy of, it's more than 15, but shy of 16, if I
The
remember
old one?
right. Yeah, and this looks like, this new square, that rectangle that they put up here, looks like it's twice the size of that. So I'm just guessing that this orange space, or whatever
It
color
is
that
going to be bigger.
is like
And-
32,000 feet at least.
And it's
3 stories.
Yeah.
3 stories, but they weren't determining like EHS on the first story and
No,
Park and Rec,
that has
just-
not been determined. Nothing was talked about that. It was just finding the square footage space needed for the 2 there.
Okay,
And as you see, they did not do even a layout of
Right.
the,
Right, and they didn't,
surprised.
and that might be viable. They commented.
Yeah.
Okay, David,
no,
yes.
and the part that's in blue, it doesn't really make a lot of sense as to what that is. It does,
Administration and finance.
That's the town hall, administration, finance, and,
in scheme 5, so that takes away, again, that takes away cable.
Well, is next to blue,
we
is
don't
that
know.
cable?
we don't know that for sure. I don't know. We don't know. They did not say anything about cable at that point. Yes, Patty?
They're not addressing caves. They were not down to that level yet.
No.
And the other thing about this versus that building on the north side, you're not dealing with the slope issue that is quite an issue with that other building.
Having it at this end,
Yeah.
building.
So this one is quite viable, where the other one says feasible with issues. So there's 2 potentials there.
This one's like.
That's lower than the higher level, but it does give you some comparison to think about. Over on the north side, if the parking over there,
There isn't.
and they're concerned about seniors walking the slope, we don't know at the lower level how they're gonna manage that. There's no slope here, at
Yes,
least
there
we
is.
know that.
There's a slope that goes down by the library now, and they're gonna make parking spaces, it's gonna have to go down.
They would probably grade that out.
I'm sure they could do that.
Yeah.
But it can't go too far down that hill, because then it really starts to drop off too much.
Well, they have to provide adequate parking, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't see it in this diagram, I don't
No.
believe.
Oh,
But
no.
I think that's something that could be talked about and asked about, because that's a possibility.
What, oh, it's scheme
So-
5? Yeah.
Excuse me, Bob, Andy had his hand up
I
first.
just wanted to make a note. I watched this on TV with that, had good sound, and I thought the architects, I may be wrong because it doesn't agree with your notes, I thought the architects said this was probably the most expensive of the schemes, and kind of played it down.
I think
may be
Scheme
wrong.
6, Scheme
Huh?
6 was the most expensive.
Okay, but I thought they mentioned this big building, three-story building was also a big expense.
No, I think it was Scheme 6, it
I
just,
could be wrong. I have made mistakes before.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, I make mistakes too, so I could be wrong, but I've read it enough times, I think that's accurate. But, Bob,
Yeah, I just want to note that we don't know what, you're worrying about this slope, but I know that the library is going to be up at a level where it's going to be even with a parking lot for people to go in and then down below it. And I think that they're talking about the same thing. If you look at the drawings with us in a separate building, it does not show a slope, it shows everything on the same level. Now, I don't know that that's true, but we would want to make sure that that's true. The other thing is that even though that on Scheme 5, even though that is pink, it is not pink, it is pink and yellow, because Park and Rec and we would be sharing the 3 stories of that building. Some of it would be ours, some of it would be theirs, and some of it would be general use for both.
they did make comments throughout at different times about the fact that, Park and Rec and EHS, there are certain large spaces that can be shared. And that is looked upon favorably, and they liked that, fact, and they were trying to keep the groups close enough together so that that could happen realistically. But there's so many details that would need to be worked out, obviously. But that's another thing. So we have Scheme 5, which might be a possible solution. We don't know. We still have questions. But our job today is to figure out where do we think of these 6 schemes, narrow it down if we can, and then if we have certain, questions, we can make a list of them maybe, and then go from there. So, all right, Scheme 6, we'll go on. This will take 2 seconds. That's pages 24, 25, and 26. And the reason I say I think this is the most expensive is that if you look at it, Scheme 6. You have a big, huge building over in the north side where previously the EHS building was. And that is the town hall. A new town hall over on the right, on that area where it slopes down, etc. And then you have over on the left, oh, this means demolishing Shattuck Street, I forgot, completely. This building's gone completely, it's the first pitch thing. Then they put a whole new building, which has EHS and Park and Rec in a 2-story community center site, south site building, with a parking lot, if you'll notice, in the front, etc. Tennis courts are there in the gray, and then you have parking, a lot more parking. So, now you're talking about tearing down Shattuck Street, which will be expensive, building a huge community center building, and a town hall. So that is going to be exorbitantly expensive.
You're talking about finances versus what our needs are, I think, so it'd be good to just say that, yeah, maybe it's expensive, but as far as our needs, it meets our needs. It's got 2 multifunction rooms, it's got, a lot of space. So we could, yes, it's good if we have the money, but maybe go to 2, I don't think we should be arguing the money right now.
Well, no, I'm not arguing it, but I've heard comments from the selectmen, that's
Oh, sure they're gonna look at
out of
money.
reach, out of reach, yeah.
But we should still say what our preference is.
Well, right, so Patty.
I think they're telling us this is a no anyways, not
Yes.
cost effective. I mean, that's the bluntest statement on not cost.
Well, I've heard that, I did hear that, so. Yes, Maureen?
Thank you, Madge. This reminds me of one of the selectmen's meetings we went to probably 2 years ago, where the interim town administrator said if we ended up having to build 3 new buildings, which is what Scheme 6 is.
2.
Well, including the
Well,
Including the library.
which
Oh, yeah.
will be a new building.
Right.
It was going to be in excess of $30 million.
It'd be more than that now.
And well, right, that was 2 years ago, so.
Oh, yeah.
Just figure out
Oh, yeah.
exponentially how much more it's gonna be. I mean, that doesn't make, fiscally, it doesn't make much sense.
No.
This would be more like
I
40 million.
agree with what you
Ann Lee is
said.
on. Ann Lee's got the floor.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, but we've got to think financially also, because it's going to go to town meeting, and it will get shot down if we choose the $30 million plan. So, we've got to think both our needs and our wants and the finances. We can't just.
Okay. So, do we have additional questions about any of the sites?
Yes.
David?
Well, not about any of the sites, but I would say here that they didn't do just for the heck of it. They didn't do any kind of a plan that eliminated the tennis courts and put them someplace else.
That's right.
So they made that a sacrosanct spot, but it's like really flat and really usable.
Right.
And they could put tennis courts, feed them in
I've
somewhere
heard,
else.
though, that discussion has occurred.
Yep, we
It
did
did.
have that
Oh,
discussion.
I'm sure it did, but I don't see it here.
Yeah.
I mean, we turned down that spot for the library. We would have loved to have that nice flat spot to build a big library, but the thing was that we were gonna be responsible also for building 2 tennis courts somewhere else in town. Okay? And we didn't want to take that on and, worked out.
Well, I know
something
it. There was a discussion about that relative to the fact that the fields are currently developing down off from King Street behind Weber, where Weber's was.
else. Yes.
And part of the deal they made with the planning board is to put some tennis courts in there,
Right.
bordering the high school for that purpose. And so the question then arises, okay, wait a minute, they're putting those tennis courts in there. Why do we need to worry about these tennis courts here?
Right.
I mean,
So-
it's really nice idea to leave them if we could, but if that solved a major problem,
Of land, right,
consider it,
right.
But they didn't.
Well, no, and
We all
maybe.
agree with you, but none of us play tennis, so.
Right, but we also
That's true.
learned with putting the ice rink out, sorry, March, that they pitch down about a foot, so they're not in great condition.
Ah, okay.
When you wouldn't have known it without putting,
Water in there.
yeah.
Okay.
So therefore, already, there's another,
Reason to take it down.
reason not to have them there maybe, but, so that could be raised, I think, as a question.
Well, I'd love to see another plan that included a building there. That might be way more feasible than any of these other ones.
All right. So, Nancy, yes.
Andy had a good idea. Sorry, Andy. There's a house right next to the tennis courts on the street. And one is up for sale, and it said sale pending. If it dropped, if they weren't going to be able to sell it, he suggested that we buy it and put tennis courts there.
That came up in conversation too.
Yeah. Actually, I saw people moving in there this weekend. So, anyway. All right, so can we go through these and decide whether we feel this is even worth talking to? Can we narrow this down as a group?
Point of order,
Yes, sir.
how about if we just eliminate right away the ones that we know won't work?
Well, that's what I'm asking for.
All right.
Yes, in so many words. Go through them.
Okay.
Anyone else? Patty?
I agree, that's what we should do, I think pretty clear what's gonna be eliminated.
Well, we need to,
Seems to be. And at the same time, if we're in agreement with potentially 2 or 3, maybe 2 probably, that remembering that they're high level, but we can develop comments and questions to each of the ones we select.
Correct, that's why I'm saying move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Scheme 1, we're going to, as a group, as the COA board, don't mean to eliminate you, but we have to come to our own decisions about these. Scheme 1, anyone on the board in favor of it? Being, is a site that we would say to the selectmen we think is interesting to explore further.
All in favor, say
All those in favor of suggesting that we explore that further? I need somebody to make a we don't have to vote.
Yeah.
We don't have to vote.
No.
We're just trying to find it,
I'm a
that's
little
all.
confused, yeah, I lost my pages.
That's why you were
16 is
numbering
the,
them.
16 is,
Oh.
16 is the first page.
Trust me, I had, that's why I numbered them, because I kept
15
getting
and
confused.
16
Thank you.
is scheme 1.
Yeah, 15 and 16. There you go.
Okay. So, let's move in next there. I'm not sure.
How were you attacking this?
Right.
Did scheme 1 suggested that we knew her, or what?
That we what?
Preferences, how are you attacking this? Doing all the schemes?
I'm attacking
Scheme
it,
by scheme?
Yeah.
I just asked about scheme 1, that's where we are.
Okay.
Scheme 2.
So, scheme 1, what was the decision? It's out.
I am not in favor.
All right. Now, we all agree on that.
I don't know,
No, I don't either. I
I
don't
find it
like
hard to have an opinion on any of this. I've seen these for less than an hour.
Well, we don't have, I'm not, this is not something I'm running to the selectmen with. We might have to have, I don't know when they are going to want information. They did not give us a deadline. It's going to be soon. We might have to hold a special meeting if we can't, I don't know exactly, do you? I don't either. So, my goal is to have us make a decision about, of the 6 schemes, do we think any are possible? 1, 2, 3 of them, I don't know, just so at least that we can narrow this down. Yes,
But
Betty?
we were charged to take it to the board.
Right.
And report back to the space committee.
That's
So
what I'm doing.
we're doing.
That's what we're doing. So, all those in favor of, I'm going to ask again, scheme 1, does anybody feel that it should be explored further? No, then I'm going to X this one out. Okay. Scheme 2,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes. I think everybody, David and Susan,
Does this,
scheme 2?
We can do more than one.
Page 17.
We can say, if we see 4 of them, but I don't think we're gonna. Scheme 2,
no,
you don't think it's feasible?
I don't, it's changing, it looks like it's changing the cable studio, so my answer is no.
No, we're not talking about
we don't wanna
cable, we're
talk- we're the
talking about,
COA
we're talking about COA and a senior center.
Okay.
Senior-
You're talking about the building, does the building fit viable?
We're talking about, we're only concerned
What we got
about
needs.
a senior center, and we're not gonna have a cable TV in the senior center. I don't believe. That's a town, other town, right.
That is correct.
Yes.
There's no color scheme.
So we don't need to add that element, David, in our discussion here today.
Okay.
Okay. So, this is the scheme
Separate building.
of a separate building on the north site, that granted the site may not be great, but I personally like the idea of having a separate building. So, I see this as a personally, as a possible thing to explore more.
Would you raise your hand if you think it's feasible?
All right. Okay. So we have the whole board in agreement with that one. So this
No,
one.
David,
No,
David's,
did
David
not
did.
Oh,
raise
you didn't raise your hand?
He didn't support it.
You
I
still,
gu- I guess I just don't like the idea of separate building. But
okay.
if you want to make it, I don't
All right,
care.
well, the majority, we have only one board member missing, so. So we'll say that one's
That's
okay. It's okay. Yes, Anita?
Can I ask you why you don't like the idea of a separate building?
I don't think it's a good spot. Well, if you want to talk
Well,
about,
I know the
if
spot's
you want to
not
talk
good.
about putting it on a tennis court, you got my vote.
There you go.
Yes? Anita?
Well, that's what we
Anything?
sort of had said, that we can bring up that question, why can't we do move it from here
To the
up
tennis
to
court.
here and have it,
We don't know, we can't.
right, that's what I'm saying.
All right, I
That-
have it checked as possible or question mark move it to the tennis court area.
Move it to the
Right.
tennis court area, right.
Yes, David.
That's my vote,
You vote for that.
yes.
Okay,
two,
with that
that's
comment,
7 out of
yes,
8.
but question moving it to the tennis courts.
And
So
they
then we
did-
have-
And in our meeting, they did say that it was conceivable if they could move the tennis court somewhere else. They did not, the architects went on the assumption that it was gonna stay where it was. but
That was in
It is feasible.
the working group meeting he's referring to, not the selectmen's meeting. Scheme 3, which is where EHS, Park and Rec, and else, everything remains in Shattuck Street, and then the town hall and school department go to a new building on the north side. I don't see that. I don't see CEHS really having a good functional building in Shattuck Street. It's too
Plus, it's
spread out.
split,
It's too spread out.
and it's split.
Yeah. So I don't see that, I personally. Who sees this as, does anybody want to see this as a working possibility?
Well, the only thing I would say is that the same thing goes for the scheme before. Take that building and put it in the tennis courts.
Oh, the town hall and school department?
Yeah, put it in.
But then you're saying that you feel for the COA, it would be appropriate for us to remain in Shattuck Street?
Well, they give, okay. It shows us being there, right? Oh, wait a minute.
Staying in
No,
Shattuck Street, yes.
oh, wrong page.
Second floor Shattuck Street, we would be on.
Second floor.
Yes.
Right
Liz.
away, I don't think that's a good idea because we're
No.
on the second floor.
Liz wants to make a comment.
If we're looking at
Scheme
Scheme 3, where EHS is in the long, think about us all spread out. I don't feel comfortable having staff so far away from each other. So we're thinking about coming in contact with outreach clients, all our support groups, having programs going on. There's
not
no-
good
There's
space.
no good way to manage that long strip of building.
Continuity would be totally lost.
We
And
have
we-
to staff like areas,
We-
and we don't have that amount of staff.
Same categories, Scheme 1.
And we'd be in the same situation we're in now, with entrances and exits all around and not being able to even get an accurate count of people we're servicing that come into events.
Or even know if someone's in the building.
Right, so I don't see it as possible for EHS. Okay, so I'm gonna scratch that one.
Are we gonna vote on that?
Oh, I thought we had agreed. No? Okay, yes, well, raise your hands. If you do not think this is a workable scheme, please raise your hand. Okay, unanimous. Scheme 4. And this one, EHS is on the north side. That is renovating Shattuck Street for Park and Rec and LCTV, and demolish the old library and build a new town hall. I don't see that, I mean, it doesn't really affect us, because we're gonna be in the north side, and we want that anyway.
Right.
So I don't think we need to even pay attention to that one,
Yeah.
Okay.
as, for EHS, anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Go ahead, Maureen.
I agree. I like the fact that we're in our own building. I think that's a really good idea. I think that hopefully we would have some input, some really good input on how it would be built. But fiscally, as the person who lives in this town, we're back to now 2 buildings we have to build. I am not in favor.
Not gonna happen.
And that's not gonna happen, so that's why I'm not in favor of this either. Go ahead.
You know, that's what I was gonna say. This will work, but it's gonna cost us
Crazy.
A lot of money.
a lot of money, so I don't think it's a
I
good.
don't think it is either. All right. All those who agree with what Ann Lee just said. Save words. All right, that's good. We're together on that. Now we get down to Scheme 5, which is the EHS and Park and Rec being in a new building, 3-story building, right on my right, where the current library is.
That's a possibility.
Possibility.
And that includes demolishing the building, even though they don't say that, right?
Right.
Yes.
No, yeah, demolishing the whole
Demolishing the
building.
old library. It's gonna be a new 3-story building. I see that as a possibility too.
The other thing is, it doesn't tell us much about our space.
We don't need to worry about it. We're gonna have 3 stories, plenty of space, 32,000 square feet, I think.
Whole section.
Yeah.
It's
On
gonna
one
get-
floor?
3 stories.
No, 3 stories.
Stories.
3
What
3
I am,
stories.
what I am asking is, we would have 1 floor.
No.
No?
3 floors.
3 floors.
Where's
That
park-
is not what this says.
Should-
In their own separate spaces within a new 3-story building. It does not say we are in 3 floors.
We could have 2 of the floors. We haven't quite figured out that level of detail yet.
No. This is just a general concept, so that would all have to be worked out when the building was being designed, if that was something that was gonna be happening. And that would take the organization and collaboration between everybody, well, especially Park and Rec and EHS and the town administration, so. Yes, who had their hand up? I lost track. Anita?
I would agree with this, but I would like to know if it was possible to put both of us in the old library,
No,
There's not enough space.
not enough space there.
because it's not enough space.
Not for Park and Rec and.
Oh, that's
CA.
true, right, back to the first one. I'm sorry.
That's okay, but that's why.
Sorry?
There's not enough square footage even for the COA
Right, it's
and
not enough.
EHS to be in that space, never mind
Right.
Park and Rec as it is now.
Okay.
If you look at the diagram on page 2, Park and Rec needs or wants 14,000 square feet, and Health and Human Services is 18,000 square feet, for a total of 32,000 square feet. So in that building of Scheme 5, we're allocated 18,000 of the 32,000 square feet. So we get the prominence of the building.
And that isn't looking ahead to the future.
Right.
I was just gonna say, that doesn't give us room to grow.
Yeah, it does.
No,
But I still
Yeah,
think
'cause
that's
then
a
Park and Rec would move up.
possibility that we would have sooner rather than later. Where if we don't make it a
There's no way
viable
out of
option
this.
to look at a higher level, we're not giving it an opportunity.
But at the same,
and the other piece of it is too, I think, as Ann Lee mentioned, you know, we have to be sensitive to the costs involved and the fact that it's gonna have, anything is gonna have to go through a town meeting. And I just suggest that if it is something that I know that I'll just back up for a minute. I know that in Stowe, I think it is, they had to call their new senior center a community building in order to get the town to support it and vote it in. So, when you're talking about a 3-story building with Park and Rec and EHS, if there's some way to be able to work out something, I think we would stand a better chance of getting it approved, personally. That's just my thought.
Yes, I agree.
Bob?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is my first choice would be 2, my second choice would be 5. And because somehow we can work out the 5. And I'm not at all concerned. I was not happy that they didn't give us some kind of an idea or split in terms of large rooms and small rooms and so forth, but they didn't.
Well, that will come later.
that's just part of the construction, you know.
And, you know, that's all gonna come later, once
I
we
understand that,
narrow it
but they
down.
did it with the other building, separate building, they could have done it with that building, but that's neither here nor there. But at
Well,
least it's
yeah.
a viable possibility.
Okay. So,
That's just one
Yeah.
comment, that separate building on the north side was only gonna be 17,000 square feet.
Well, it was gonna
If
be
you look
19
it up
for
on
the
this.
utilities.
So this is giving us another 1,000 square feet.
But we're sharing it.
No, if
No.
this new 3-story is 32,000.
Right.
no,
And the chart here has Park and Rec at 14 and us at 18. And the north building over there for COA by itself is only 17. We're getting more here than going over
no, I know
there.
it.
You're forgetting about the basement has 2,000 square feet.
But
But a lot of that
might
would
not
be
be
utility.
what you
but-
call livable. It might just be there, but you don't know whether or not it's gonna be usable.
And I don't have any notes on that either. So I guess
So we have questions about scheme
Yeah.
five, but it looks,
it looks big, but I have a question I'm gonna jot down to ask, and that is, what is the square footage they're talking about? 'Cause
Yeah,
it
there's
isn't
no
recorded.
dimensions on this.
No, it
at
isn't
all.
recorded. So these question is
That's for number 5, no square footage, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
actual
Are we
square footage.
listing it as viable by, or not?
We have to finalize that, yes, Bob.
Okay, if we're going to get the 32 and new building, the new building has to have utilities too, so there's going to be a certain amount of that 32,000 because it is a separate building. So therefore, it's going to have space for its utilities, and the 32,000 is going to be reduced by whatever it takes. So either way, you're talking about the same amount.
All right, okay. Can we come to a decision about scheme 5? Is it a possibility to further discuss? That's what, okay.
raise your hands.
Raise your hand, please, if you feel it's a possibility for EHS to further discuss. I think we've got that one, okay. Okay. And scheme 6, let's finalize this. Anyone feel that that's a possibility?
Don't even want to talk about it.
Don't want to talk about it. Anybody want to raise their hand for that one? I don't either, personally. I think it would be so exorbitantly expensive.
Like a collection.
Okay, thank you. So we're down to 2 and 5. And I think I've heard comments for some of the friends that they thought 2 and 5 were feasible to discuss further too. So that's a good thing.
We're gonna be meeting tomorrow.
So maybe, and you know, we need to put together questions. So let me just ask you this before we adjourn. Oh, not too bad, like a half an hour away. Do you have any particular questions that we need to ask about either one of these sites, 2 or 5 schemes? Or maybe I should suggest, think about it, please. Email this.
I'll compile all the questions into a document.
Yes, questions you might have, please email her so that when we do have another meeting or we find out even more about what they want from us, we know if we have further questions. Good idea?
Good idea.
Okay. Does that sound all right?
Take it home, digest it, think of questions.
Yes.
Send it back.
All right. Any further discussion on this?
What about tonight? Do you want board members there with you? What do you want?
Anybody that wants to come. I have no clue what they're talking about, so I just was mentioning it, and I'm gonna go just for that. I don't wanna not go and be sitting at home and watching it and wish I was there to say something, that's all. But if they have information, I can let them know what we did today. If that comes up, I don't think, well, I'm not anticipating that, because we would have been notified, I think, if they wanted us there. But I'm gonna go just to hear what's going on. And I can share it with all of you, or you're welcome to come, obviously. Open meeting? All right, do we have any other business we need to discuss? If not, and we did approve all the reports, I guess I will entertain a motion to adjourn finally.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.